Welcome to Azure Reference Architecture Practical Guide series. In this episode, I'm going to discuss how to create the Azure App Service Plan. In case if you have missed previous videos, I have everything on the website. So you can go to the iCodeForYou.com website to see previous videos. So this is the series I'm working on right now, Azure Reference Architecture Practical Guide. So far I have created almost 10 to 11 chapters. So in case if you have missed previous one, it is always recommended to watch these videos so that you will be able to understand the 12th chapter. In this episode, I'm talking about the app service environment V3. So let's take a look at what is inside the app service environment V3. So before that, let's understand what is actually the app service environment and why we need to use the app service environment and especially on V3. So app service environment is app service feature that provides the fully isolated and dedicated environment for securely running Azure app service or apps at high scale. So what exactly this app service environment is capable is one, running the Windows web apps or Linux web apps, or the containerized applications like either running on the Windows or Linux operating system, or if you have the logic apps or the function apps, so you can use the app service environment for hosting it isolated way. So the general use case, if you have the mission critical applications or the internal line of business applications, you can choose the app service environment. So selecting the app service environment is make sure that you have to take the right decision, because this is the expensive service. At the same time, this is actually build the foundation for your architecture. So the second use case, the applications that need more than 30 app service plan scenario. So for example, the architecture I was talking about in my application need the more than 30 app service plan instances. If you have looked at the application blueprint, so this is what I discussed in the application blueprint. So as part of this application blueprint, I'm hosting the application in the Azure in a secure way. So I have discussed most of the requirement of the applications before this video, very high level. This is my the reference architecture I'm referring. So I'm going to have a app service environment with the app service plan with the web tier, app service plan for the app tier. So that's the basic architecture requirements. That's why I have selecting the app service environment here. And I know that I'm going to host more than 30 app service or app service plans inside this app service environment. So make sure that you are fully utilized your app service environment when since you are spending too much money for the app service environment provisioning. And if you are also the another use case is single tenant system that satisfy the some of the application compliance and the security requirements. So your application security requirement says that you need isolated environment. You cannot host with the multi-tenant systems. Then you have to look for the single tenant application, single tenant system, which is part of which is the app service environment. The other feature use case is completely network isolated. So when you are going for the app service environment V3, so you are getting the complete network isolation, and also supports the multi-tier applications. So the general, the application scenario could be the high scale. So if you are looking for very high scale applications and isolated as a dedicated environment and fully network secure access, and your application need more more memory utilization, and also the high request per second requirement. So in general, some of the general information like V3 can host up to 200 instance of app service plans or the app services combined. So that means you can maximum host 200 instance of Azure app services in the app service environment v3 version. So prior to app service environment v3, there was app service environment v2, which is still you can still have provision the resources in the app service environment v2. So the app service environment v2 supports up to 100 instances. So you see the huge difference between the app service environment v3 and app service environment v2. So prior to that, there is another instance of the app service environment, which is the app service environment v1. So the recommended size for app service environment for the subnet is a /23 CIDR block, so that you will get at least 256 address spaces. So if you are getting the less address spaces, that means you will not be able to use the 200 instance private IP addresses. So the apps in the app service environment do not need any features enabled. This is one of the difference between the app service environment v2 and app service environment v3. In app service environment v2, you have to actually manage a lot of network related features. So we are going to discuss in a minute in the separate screenshot, but you have to manage some of the inbound outbound traffics in v2, wherein v3 it is completely coming up with the vnet package. So let's take a look at some of the differences between the v2 and v3. So there are no network dependencies. You can deploy, enable the zone redundancy. That's the one of the biggest difference in v3. And you can also deploy it on the dedicated host group. If you are looking for the dedicated hardware, that's the another feature of the v3. So we can talk about the dedicated host group. And scaling compared to the v2 is much faster in v3. So that's the one of the biggest difference. People has to spend a lot of time while scaling app service environment v2, wherein v3 they have improved a lot of performance for scaling. So these are the some of the differences between app service environment v2 and app service environment v3. Now let's take a look at some of the features not available in v3. This is something Microsoft terminated some of the features. Looks like part of the v3. You cannot send the SMTP traffic from the app service environment, and you cannot deploy apps using the FTP. I think that makes sense. So you may not be using the FTP for hosting the applications. And the next one is use the remote debugging. This is one of the feature was available in app service environment v2, but not available in v3 anymore. And the biggest drawback here I can see is upgrading from app service environment v2 to v3. If you are already using the app service environment v2, I would definitely expect migration or upgrading from v2 to v3. I'm sure Microsoft will be coming up with that feature, but as of now, upgrade from v2 to v3 is not available. And the other small feature like monitor your network traffic with the network watcher, or configuring the IP-based TLS binding, and configuring the custom domain suffixes. So these are the some of the features not available with the app service environment latest version. Next, take a look at the what can't be changed. So before you start provisioning the app service environment, make sure that you are absolutely clear on these properties. So you should know what location you're going to host your app service environment and the subscription. So you should have the better planning of, I'm sure you will have all these details. So you cannot change the virtual network, you cannot change the subnet. So you're going to have one single subnet for the app service environment, and that's all. You cannot have any more or further subnets inside the same app service environment. And apps subnet size cannot be changed. So make sure that, so you will have 24 sider. So that's the recommended the size for the subnet, and name of the app service environment. Of course, you cannot rename because this is globally creating the unique URL. And the other point to note here is there are like some of the instances, like when you create the norm app service environment. So normal app service environment are available in pretty much most of the Azure regions, but some of the app service environment which supports the availability zone are available only in a few regions, not available in every region. So you can look at the Microsoft website for more details, what regions the availability zones are available and what regions the general app service environment is available. So this is really good, helpful, the documentation. Next, let's discuss the deployment considerations. So before you deploy your app service environment, make sure that you understand the virtual VIP type. So, and also the deployment type. So let's discuss what is the virtual VIP type. So there are internal VIP and the external VIP. So these are the two options available. So while provisioning the app service environment, so you have to understand, you have to select one of them. So are you creating the app service environment for your private DNS or the public DNS? So if you understand that, so you will be able to select either internal VIP or the external VIP. So external VIP for the public facing DNS and internal VIP for the applications running inside the corporate, the private DNS. So the next one is the deployment type. So you will see there are three deployment types: single zone, zone redundant, and host group. So the single zone apps, single zone is available in all regions where the app service environment v3 is available. So with a single zone deployment type, you have a minimum charge in your app service plan of one instance of Windows isolated v2. As soon as you had or you create another instance, then the default one will goes away. So that's not, that's acceptable. And the next one is the zone redundant. So zone redundant. So there are only few Azure reasons where you can have the zone redundant. So the default, there are three zones or three instance will be coming as part of the zone redundant. So as compared to the v3, in v2 you don't have the zone redundant. So that's a huge saving. That's why the v3 is like 80% saving the cost as compared to the v2 in general. And host group, that's another option where you want to have dedicated hardware. Some of the companies, like, if you're looking for government or some of the secured enterprise might go for the host groups. And other one is the dedicated environment. So in general, you can see the multi-tenant and the single tenant. So the app service environment v3 we are talking about here is the single tenant. That means that the environment is provisioned only for you and no one is going to sit in that particular managed instance. Wherein the multi-tenant, so if you're not kept or not able to afford the price for the app service environment for the single tenant, so you can go for the multi-tenant, where the managed instance is going to be shared across the multiple tenants. That means you are sitting along with somebody else in the shared managed instance. So that's the difference between the single tenant and the multi-tenant. So in the single tenant, you will be having your virtual network complete, your virtual network is injected. That means your app service environment is actually sitting completely with the secure boundary within the virtual network you have created as part of the app service environment. So the other point to remember or consider before deploying the app service environment is the subnet cannot be used for anything else. The subnet which you are going to create as part of the app service environment is dedicated for the app service environment. Now, there are three categories of the pricing in the app service environment. You will see the app service environment v3, that's a standard price. I will discuss more in details in the next slide about these three different categories. The second one is the zone redundant app service environment, where you will be getting the multiple zones. So minimum 3 zones in the same Azure region, that will be different pricing. And the dedicated host, where you are going to have dedicated hardware assigned to your app service environment. So that will be a different pricing tier. So this is the very high level all about the app service environment. And this is the diagram shows the difference between the app service environment v2 and app service environment v3 as discussed in the previous slide. So app service environment, the differences here is there are no network dependencies, and it can deploy and enable the zone redundancy. So there are no network dependencies. That's the point explained in this slide. So if you look at in the v2, we have to manage a lot of these network connections with the inbound, outbound rules in the network security group of the app service environment, where the virtual network and subnet is assigned to this app service environment. If you want to talk to any of the services within the virtual network, so you still need to manage those through the load balancer for getting the traffic in and out through the inbound outbound traffic. So all that is managed internally by the app service environment in v3. So you don't explicitly do anything in terms of managing those internal inbound outbound IP addresses. So this is the network security group I'm talking about. In v2, you have to, for example, the inbound rules, TCP from IP service tag. And if you want to provide access to the Microsoft, you need to open some of the ports with 454 or 455 and TCP load balancer port number, things like that. So in v2, if you look at the integration, the network integration documentation of Microsoft, so they clearly call out what are the inbound or outbound traffic need to be managed explicitly in app service environment v2, wherein app service environment v3, you don't need to take care of any of those things. So those are all addressed by app service environment v3 internally by the Microsoft team. So I would like to bring this slide to just explain that the app service environment we are going to create supports the multiple operating systems by default. So you can have app service plans running in the Linux operating system, some of the app service plans running in the Windows operating system. So you can select the operating system while creating the app services within the app service environment. So this was not the case with the app service environment v2, but this is the additional feature added in the app service environment v3. So we would definitely provisioning the app service environment to save that 80% of the cost as compared to the app service environment earlier version. So the other diagram I just wanted to show you that the app service environment v3 supports the zone redundant, where you're within the same region, you are going to have three, at least minimum three app service availability zones with the minimum 3 instances running. So if you select the zone redundant option, so I'm going to show you while creating the app service environment. So you will see that at least minimum 3 availability zones are going to be part of the availability zone. And if you are selecting the dedicated host group, if you are selecting the dedicated host group, that is not zone redundant. So make sure that you understand that part of it. Now, these are the some of the resources will be useful before provisioning the app service environment. Make sure that you understand the documentation from the Microsoft portal. So this is the entry point if you want to get more information on the app service environment. So it talks about the use cases and talks about the virtual network support and some of the differences between V2 and V3 and the pricing tier. So the pricing details, if you are selecting the standard app service environment or the zone redundant or the dedicated host. So this is the pricing tier. So if you want to go more in details, you can look at the pricing tier here. So I selected the central US, and so these are the different types of the app service plans. So if I select the isolated, which is what the app service environment we were talking about. So the minimum, the fee is 292 per month. So as compared to the app service environment V2, app service environment V2 used to charge the monthly price of 1,000 US dollars. So which is very expensive. So that's a huge difference in terms of the pricing as compared to app service environment V2. And you can look at the other pricing tiers in the bottom. So if you are going for 1 year, so this is this is the pricing tier for each month, and this is isolated 1, isolated 2, and isolated 3, and these are the core RAM and the storage capacity for each and app service isolated plans, app service environment. And this is the isolated V2 plan. Okay, now let's take a look at the portal for creating the app service environment. So I've already triggered one app service environment. So this is something going to take a lot of time. Average time is 2 hours, 40 minutes or something. So if you take a look at, I've started this creating this app service environment at 5:15. So it is the 6:17. So still the app service environment is not completed yet. So this is still triggering, but let me show you from the portal how you are going to create the app service environment. So you are going to search with the app service environment. So you are going to select this, and this is something is still provisioning. So it is still getting created. So if you want to see the app service environment showing on your preferences, you click on the all services. Here you can search app service. Sorry, you need to click on all services, service environment. So place your cursor and add it to your favorite, and you can drag it to wherever you want to keep your app service environment. So before I create the app service environment, I quickly will show you the plan. For this case study, I'm going to create the app services. These are the Azure app services as part of the architecture I was showing. So I'm going to create the app service, one app service environment. So I'm following the Microsoft naming conventions for creating these app service Azure resources. So this is the app service environment I'm going to create. So as part of the previous video, I have already created the virtual network along with the virtual network, and also created the resource group. So let me click on add. So I'm showing the creating the app service environment using the portal, but normally I will be importing the ARM templates and going to deploy through the my source code using the Azure DevOps CI/CD pipeline. So let me select the apps subscription. As I mentioned, subscription is something you cannot change. So whatever the information you are adding as part of the resource creation will not be changed later. So make sure that you plan it well before creating those things. So I'm going to use the existing resource group. So this is my existing resource group I've already created. So I'm going to use the app service name. So as I mentioned, I've already started one app service environment. So I'm going to use the second one to make unique. So this is global. So make sure that you will have the unique name assigned to your app service environment. So you see the options here, virtual web. So here you are going to have internal for internal DNS apps that are hosted internal DNS. That's called the ILB-ACE, and you can have the external one. So depending on the requirement, so you can select whether you want the external exposing public DNS or internal for your corporate domain. So I'll select the external and then click on next. Here we are going to add the hosting details. So if you want to see the more information about the host group, so you can look at before provisioning, make sure that you understand the hosting requirement. So when you click on enable, so you don't have option here for the zone redundancy as we discussed. So if you are going for the dedicated hardware, that means at least 2 dedicated hosts will be deployed along with this app service environment. That means you cannot have the zone redundancy. So if you disable the host group, then you can have the zone redundant. So as soon as I select enable, vice versa, the host group is not available. So I'll just leave the default one because the pricing will be different for if I enable the zone redundant here. So the next one is the networking part. So I'm going to select the existing VNet, which I have already created, and then I can have the separate that subnet. The subnet name I'm going to use is here is the subnet. So I already have the app service environment for the first one. So I'm going to use the second one in a sequence so that I can be able to create the resource. So this is the existing virtual network address space, and this is the address I'm going to block. So let me select the subnet and then create the tagging. Tagging is something I've already discussed in my previous videos, and so you can use the tagging. So I've created the tagging conventions, naming conventions. So there is a separate video on the naming conventions and the tagging conventions. So I'll skip that part as part of this video. And before you provision, make sure that you understand review the details here about, especially on the hosting zone redundancy, and make sure that whatever you provision here is accurate. So that's how you are going to create the Azure App Service environment. As I mentioned, in my next videos, probably I will wait for until this app service environment is completed, and in a subsequent videos I can explain the additional details. I can talk about the additional details of app service environment when I create the additional resources as per my this architecture. I hope this is useful. Thank you very much for staying with me. As I mentioned, you can always look for this latest details in this website. So there is a separate series if you click on the home page. So there are different products I'm working on. One is on the .NET Core, .NET Web API Clean Architecture. And this is the second series on the Azure Reference Architecture Guide. And the third one is the Azure Kubernetes. So if you want to look for more details, how many, the table of contents and the chapters I'm going to cover, and if you are looking for the in details, so this is how you can access more details in this website. Thank you very much.